Welcome to the ANEW Insight Podcast, empowering and inspiring your journey to optimal health. Hosted by Dr. Supatra Tovar, clinical psychologist, registered dietitian, fitness expert, and author of Deprogram Diet Culture. Rethink your relationship with food, heal your mind, and live a diet-free life. I follow my guests' journey to optimal health, providing you with the keys to unlock your own wellness path. Tune in and evolve with us. Welcome back, everyone. We are back for the second half of our incredible interview with co-founder and clinical director of HumanSync, Eric Nelson. Eric gave us some really thought-provoking insight into highly specialized healthcare. We're just scratching the surface, so we're going to dive in and learn some more. Let's dive into longevity. That's, just a big buzzword out there.
Yes.
People are really interested. You see all these billionaires trying to increase their lifespan and doing all of this stuff.
Mhm.
So just give me a picture of that. It's not just about living longer, but it's really about living better, right? So give me a picture of how you help clients improve their quality of life today while also protecting future health.
Yeah, you're tapping into something that's very interesting. I think there's a lot of discussion on living to 100 or 120, or on the far spectrum would be to end aging. So the vitalism movement of ending aging, I love it all. I think it's all great.
Me too.
What matters most to people is now, is what I've learned is like, now is the priority. And then in a close second would be, what information do I need to know now to help me live happy, healthy as long as possible? I like to think about it as putting nursing homes out of business, not to take people's jobs, but it's just a bummer that there's so many people and I've been in those nursing homes, and it's mainly, I think one of my, we are a medical company and we have doctors and a science team. Education, I think, is like maybe the most important thing, because the information's out there. But people are so busy and there's so much information that people just have no idea what to do. Brad, co-founder, talks about information overload leading to inaction. And people just say, well, I just heard cholesterol is the number one cause of heart disease. And then the next doctor says, well, you need cholesterol for a functioning immune system, which is true, actually is true. But then cholesterol has been shown to cause heart disease, ApoB. There are so many situations. I think about a year ago, I did the longevity confusion series on LinkedIn. I had 13 posts. Corn is good, corn is bad. Bread is good, bread is bad. Oatmeal is good, oatmeal is bad. There's just so much information. So my goal with HumanSync and the people that we bring into our business to work with us also are the same way. It's like education, education, education. Let people know that just because mom had heart disease or dad had heart disease and you have high cholesterol does not mean you're going to get heart disease. We have to know more information. We have to know, it's very helpful to know genetic risk. We want them to know other markers of the cardiovascular system that traditional medicine is not looking at. So we give a report that tells people it's color coded and it's got red, yellow, green for systems, a systems report that says cardiovascular system is in this category because of these metrics. And then we're talking to them a bunch on what makes up the cardiovascular system. So when they leave after 12 months, even sooner, I've even noticed at like 6 months, these people are extremely educated on what to do for their heart and their brain and all this stuff. It's quite impressive, actually. So I think I look at it through an educational lens.
Yes.
And what can we teach people when they leave our program? We do have renewals. People are renewing the second year automatically right now, which is really sweet. But when they leave HumanSync, do they know what it takes to live happy and healthy? And meanwhile, that's all the disease stuff I'm talking about, where they are on a day-to-day basis, and we do monthly calls and quarterly reviews. We're always talking about this. So we put them on the plan from the original report that says for diet, follow these things. For exercise, we recommend this. For sleep, we recommend this. Environmental health is a whole separate bucket, but we go into that as well. Mold, metals, plastics, chemicals, air fresheners, air cleaners, purifiers.
Mm-hmm.
So we're constantly talking this language, and so you can imagine getting a big report. It's about 15 pages, and I say this is the compass to your health, and use it as a guide, right? And if you want to refer back to it, but really focus on that 90-day plan.
Yes.
Meet with them monthly, and we check on that 90-day plan. We say, how's that going? And then another month goes by, and we're tweaking. And then at each quarter, we do new testing with a quarterly review report that looks back in the last 90 days and says, this is where we saw some progress. These are the areas of opportunity. These are the new data markers and the trends for wearables and the trends for blood work. It's almost like a business report. It's almost like a quarterly business report. And that is just extremely helpful. And they're learning, I mean, they got a master class on the entire body, but it's personalized.
I love this so much. The only thing I'm not hearing, and maybe you can address this because this is my area. I practice nutritional psychology, so I'm wondering how much do you address what's going on with their mental health, their mindset? Because you could have somebody who is doing all the quote right things.
Yep.
They're watching everything that they're eating and they're exercising regularly and they're sleep maxing, but they are just ruminating and stressing and worrying themselves sick and also catastrophizing and thinking the worst case scenario. And when you have that combination, you actually see a lot of poorer outcomes
Totally.
just based on a person's mindset. Do
Yep.
you address mental health at all in their overall kind of package plan?
Yeah. So that initial setting the foundations phase that I was telling you about on the first call, we look into nervous system, mindset. We ask some introductory questions. And here's one of the challenges about this space, actually. The body's so complex. How do you do everything in that first 60-minute call or even a 12-month program?
Right.
So couple of the biggest observations I've had in the entire space, 3 clinics and 2 telemedicine businesses, most people are not doing environmental health and most people are not doing mental health.
Yes.
And cancer, if you want to throw that in there. Just because once you get down that route, it's like, okay, what do you do? How do you do it? How do you carry somebody through? So we launched Human Sync with our team structure. And naturally, we would say, okay, you got your doctors, you're going to have a nurse practitioner, you got a care coordinator, all right, health coach. And I had a feeling of like, okay, there's no shortage of coaching is kind of it's extremely helpful. I love coaches, but the term has been overused so much. So it's almost like, what defines a coach? And
Exactly.
there's no shortage of information, but there's a shortage of people helping other people do their plan and carry through it and understand the mind. So we actually do focus heavily on nervous system.
Yes.
We are working with somebody, his name is Jay Wiles actually, and he works with a lot of professional athletes. He was just mentioned on Andrew Huberman's podcast.
Very cool.
Minute 32, Chris Williamson from Modern Wisdom and him were talking about HRV and heart rate and a product Chris is using. And they bring up Jay, which is kind of cool because we're working with Jay. So a lot of our patients that we identify need a little extra support. We work very, very closely with Jay and do kind of a care. We coordinate care between us and Jay and that patient. So very, very, very important because none of this matters if we don't have our mental health.
Yes.
Doesn't matter what biomarkers we check or genetics or anything. So very, very core to our program is nervous system, our mind, our autonomic nervous system, sympathetic nervous system, or parasympathetic, all that, 100%. I always see opportunities to do it better, though. It's just coordinating all this stuff. I think we're doing really well with the nervous system, but I know there's so many people out there that struggle with the mental health and the mindset stuff in our world that I'm kind of like, you almost could start a separate business on it.
Oh, totally. And
Yeah.
I mean, just maybe to plant seeds of thought, Yes, absolutely. The nervous system is probably one of the most important things that people can work on because you can't necessarily, it's not that you can't, it's just that it's very, very hard to achieve certain outcomes or, health or business or whatever outcomes if your nervous system is just out of
Yeah.
whack.
Yeah.
Very, very difficult because you're always just feeling unsafe. And then if you look at what happens physiologically in the body when you're in that fight or flight or fawn or freeze state all the time, you can see how it breaks down so many systems and there's so many difficulties and inflammation happens and blah, 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 blah. Yes, you need to learn how to regulate your nervous system, but you also need to, in that calm parasympathetic nervous system state, that's where you can work on your mindset.
Yeah.
You can say affirmations until you're blue in the face. You can go to as much talk therapy as you want, but if you are always in your sympathetic nervous system, it's very hard to
Oh yeah.
change those thoughts and to work on the mindset and the mental health.
Yep.
So, adding that piece in, nervous system first, then mindset, is a really effective way to help people realize the power of their minds. I think a lot of people really just don't understand that they're like literal wizards. You can make something happen just by thinking, which is
Totally.
so cool to
Yeah.
me. So you can either make the worst thing happen or you can make the best thing happen. And how do you do that? Well, it is through the nervous system and then through your
Yeah.
thoughts.
Yep.
So coaching in that area or, working with mental health professionals, especially for these high achieving performers. Give
Yeah.
me a picture of
Yeah.
what the high achieving performer, the CEO or somebody who's a real go-getter, what are they looking for in their health and how do you help those super high achievers?
They want to stay at the top of their game.
Mhm.
They're likely listening to podcasts. A lot of them have read Peter Attia's book or
Mhm.
Tony Robbins' book, and
Mhm.
they see in their space, in their circles, people are generally decently healthy, but there's a ton of stress. There's a lot of heart attacks.
Yes.
So it's interesting. You almost got the flip side to each coin. You've got very healthy people that are operating at a high level. Then you've got the opposite, but still
Mhm.
operating at a decent level for the state of their health. So they're like, they're curious about it, and they're competitors and they're type A and they just want all the best. And they're driven. They're fun to work with because they will take a plan and you're the compliance part of it. Like we know when somebody comes into Human Sync, we talk about that first call, and that initial call is funding the transformation for the next 12 months. Engagement is insanely high. I have noticed when the price point drops lower, the engagement drops, and that affects the business quite significantly.
Interesting.
I've seen that personally. A product was a little bit higher end, and everybody in the world wants to get this to a low price, myself included. I live in northern Minnesota. People up here are not going to spend money on a Human Sync membership. It's just not the culture. But a lot
Mhm.
of people need it. I want to get it out there. But our goal is health outcomes. How do we get health outcomes? Work with people that are serious. Work with people that take it seriously, and then guide them through the 12 months. And then at the end, sorry.
That's okay. You had a little creeper coming.
So much.
They were like,
Yeah.
no,
I've
no.
got gymnastics in 6 minutes.
Oh, we gotta get you out of there.
Yeah, we can do another one.
Oh, good.
Yeah, but they want to be essentially guided and told what to do. So they don't want to have to think about how do I improve my health or how do I move to the next thing, because they don't have time to research the market, try all these different companies, do all this stuff. They just want to be told and quarterbacked, guided, and then educated on where their body currently stands, if there's any red flags, and what to do about it. And we provide
Mhm.
that in the longevity roadmap report, and then what we do with them for 12 months. And it's a lot of fun. I want to get it to everybody, but right now we are hyper focused on creating the best experience for our patients.
I
That's it.
love that.
Somebody even asked, are we going to license the program to other physicians? I'm like, it sounds great, but we're focused on our patients, delivering extremely high quality of care and helping the field move forward.
How do people discern? There's a lot. Like there's that lumen thing out there with, not really great evidence behind it. There's all these products, all these different longevity-based companies. How do people discern? How can you guide people towards the most evidence-based decisions? Say it wasn't in your company. How do you help people discern what's real and what's hype out there?
Very difficult. We are bringing somebody on our team in the next 6 weeks. We're in interviews right now for business outreach and helping us communicate our product more effectively. Because if you and I did a screen share the other day with them on the call, and I said, hey, look at Function Health. It's a $375 lab draw, amazing marketing. And $375 for a year sounds incredible. And they're getting blood work results. It's automated, not extremely personalized. They don't have all the information that we've got. Completely different products, but when you look at our website, it looks similar to somebody that's brand new. So I think if you look at a product and there's no human interaction, take note of that, because I've been involved on 3 different businesses, business to business, one out of Stanford's AI Health Lab actually, and automated recommendations for the user. So AI is at an amazing spot. Technology is amazing. I don't think it's there yet to replace all the recommendations coming out for this person. There's so many questions that happen when you get a lab results and you're a 56-year-old female postmenopausal and your estradiol's low. What do you do with that information? So people are getting excited. They're thinking it's the solution. They get the results. So if the price point is very low and there's no human interaction, I don't think it's a waste of time. I don't think it's a waste of money at all. But in setting expectations on what's going to happen is important. Now there are some extremely, extremely expensive clinics out there that are focusing a lot of their marketing on all the fancy things I talked about in the beginning. So stem cells, peptides, hormone replacement therapy. I'm just open book on this stuff. I was part of a business discussion with very awesome people that I love. And the conversation when they decided to start the business was, do we want to make money or do we want to actually like go the health route and do what's right? Like pretty much what Human Sync's doing, or do we want to make a lot of money? And then the discussion that was in the make a lot of money bucket was all about hormone replacement therapy. It's like we could create a program that requires like no doctor time and automated prescriptions. And I was like, so there's a lot of focus on all the fancy things there. And it's like, what are the health outcomes? What are we trying to shoot for? I could go forever on that.
Oh, and I would say, coming from that menopausal woman over here, there are so many options out there. And when I was perimenopausal, I was like, I don't think I want to do all of these things and the PRP and the hormone replacement. And I certainly don't want a hot flash. And I want to be as healthy as I can moving forward. So I did some research, and this maybe will help some of our listeners out there who are like, what do I do for my health, for longevity? I researched the cultures that have very, very few, if none, no menopause symptoms out there. Okinawan's a big one. And what are they doing? I want to know everything that they're doing. I want to know what they're eating, what their lifestyle is like, what's going on, how are they not? If you really want the condensed version, eat a lot of soy and eat a lot of kelp. Really watch your lifestyle.
The blue zones.
The blue zones. Look at the blue zones. Really, honestly, look at the blue zones. And once I did that, I haven't had a hot flash. I haven't had the normal kind of symptoms that people will have in menopause. And I'm going to keep going like that. And I think that's the kind of stuff that you're doing over there. You are trying to make sure that people are increasing their health span,
Mhm.
especially when we're looking at longevity. It's not just about living long, it's about living well.
Yes.
So I just recommend that people don't necessarily just go for the magic pill. You look at what you can do in your lifestyle that doesn't cost you hardly a cent, that will, basically help extend your life span, but also help you thrive year after year as you get older. You do not have to suffer.
Yep.
Menopause symptoms are not guaranteed. It's not just this thing that everyone has to go through. So you have to go on HRT. There's
Mhm.
lots of things that you can do, Human Sync being one of them. So, Eric, I know you got to go to gymnastics with your kid. Please tell people how they can get a hold of you, how that they can join, your program.
Yeah, just to humansync.com or go to LinkedIn and look for me. My name is Eric, Erik Nelson. I've got a red background, and I can maybe share that with you through email or something like that. Or
We're going to put it in the show
yeah,
notes. Don't you
yeah,
worry, people. You'll have it. You can click on that at the end. I wish we could have had just a tiny bit longer
me too.
combo, but you got to get out of there and, take care of your kid. But I would love to have you back on. I think that you're fascinating. I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
And I think this can really help people to optimize their health. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you tune in the next time for our next interview, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for tuning into the ANEW Insight Podcast. Please remember, the content shared on this podcast is for entertainment purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. You can find us anywhere podcasts are streaming, on YouTube at my.anew.insight and at anew-insight.com under the ANEW Insight Podcast tab. And follow us on our socials at my.anew.insight on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more updates. Tune in next time and evolve with us.